As you know, Minecraft updates every couple of months or weeks, but on the 1st of April 2020, the 20w14infinite snapshot came out. A lot of players, including myself, thought that this was just a simple April Fool's prank based on the date it was released. So I went ahead and clicked the play button. I was in a Discord call with my friend, and he told me to write something in a book and then sign it and then throw it into another portal. I fully thought my friend was trolling me, but I wouldn't lose anything out of trying. I opened the creative inventory and grabbed myself a book and quill, and I typed in ant as what can be read in the book and signed it with the same name. Prior to this, me and my friend were making memes about ants a couple minutes ago, and that is my reasoning for the name. So I threw it into the portal and was really surprised that it had actually turned into a new color. So without any hesitation, I threw myself right into the nether portal, and this is what I saw. It was just black and white blocks that were moving in a weird pattern. I was kind of creeped out at that moment and confused at the same time. I was calling to my friend that something was actually there, but our worlds weren't the same. This was when we discovered that there wasn't only one world we could travel to, and that is how I found out about the world's most mysterious Minecraft snapshot, the 20w14infinite snapshot. So now that I have read a lot regarding the topic, I'm going to tell you what it's about. I knew that there was absolutely no way I was going to find everything on the snapshot, considering there are infinite possible combinations you can put into the book name. What I mean by this is that you could type literally anything as the book name. It did not have to be in the dictionary or make sense, making it quite impossible to find all of the worlds that you can travel to. But I did some research, and these are every single new block that you can find in the snapshot. By the way, these aren't obtainable on any other snapshot or release, they are simply exclusive to this one. Book_box is the ID of this item. If you don't know how IDs work, before the ID name is typed, it has the words Minecraft : typed right beside it. After that, you can type in an item name, or item ID. What I mean by this is that you can type in /give_crumbs Minecraft : diamond_sword, and you would get the diamond sword. The block has the texture of the oak plank on its sides, and has books of a couple colors on the main side when placing it. When it is used, if this block is not on any of the edges of its trunk, it will give you a book that is signed and able to be thrown into another portal. The random books are tied to the block, such that using the same block multiple times will always return an identical book, the texture of the block, and what gives its relative location. The author of the books is very much cryptic, but I translated it and it means universe itself. This block generates in a lot of dimensions, but one of them is the library dimension, as you see on screen. The ID of this block is neither_portal. It has the texture of a regular nether portal, but is colored differently. It appears when you are to throw any signed book into another portal, and there isn't really much to this block. I just thought it looked cool. The ID is as the name says, cursor, and it is animated with it changing from green to black, back to green, and so forth. It makes a clay/stone/terracotta sound when broken. This block is generated within the terminal dimension, which just has a C:/_, and the underscore is made of this block, as you see on the screen. The ID is just as simple as the name, which is ant. This is the block I found when going into that world. I'm not really sure how to explain how it looks, so just take a look for yourself. If this block is placed on black or white concrete, it flips the block to either one of these two colors. If two iron blocks collide, they will merge into one. It is blast resistant and cannot be pushed by any form of piston. It is surprisingly one of the only blocks to ever be able to break bedrock. As I've mentioned, this block spawns in the ant dimension. The ID is the most simple one we've encountered so far, which is just netherite_stairs. Judging off of the ID, I think you can assume that they are netherite stairs. Which they are. This one isn't interesting in the slightest, but still a new block exclusive to the snapshot, so I had to leave it in here. This block generates in the missing dimension where it leads up to a very interesting chest. This chest includes the footprint particle. Yes, a particle. Now, I'm not too sure how I have obtained a particle in item form, but here it is. The ID is just footprint, and you can do about nothing with it, but it's a cool addition, and I personally have seen it on iPixel Bed Wars whenever somebody is walking around invisibility potion effect. As you see on screen, when I'm walking, these blocks are placed right beside me. The ID is just as simple as the item name, fine_item. It is a grass block with the text Home Sweet Home written on it. Now, it is obtained by the bed on this item frame on the isolation dimension. This dimension is a bit weird. It just has a villager living alone in his house, which is Not sad. Let's talk about the biomes. Randomly generated biomes can be found in the new dimensions. A certain sound effect may periodically play without the presence of its normal source throughout a biome. Whether it will be disabled in some biomes, the biomes will have randomized mob spawning. Mobs that do not naturally spawn in the non-random dimensions may appear, such as giants, zombie horses, and illusioners. Many generated biomes do not spawn mobs. The generated biomes can have random structures or structures that naturally generate in other dimensions. Mobs that spawn with a structure may spawn in larger numbers than usual. There could be a high number of elder guardians spawning near an ocean monument, or a high number of shulkers generating within an end city. Often, a biome will contain one particular structure in great abundance. What I mean is that sometimes a dimension will repeatedly generate letters. If you were to make a 52-signed book, it contains the letter J, made out of glazed terracotta. The Norway book contains this letter on screen, made out of brown concrete. The Blessing book contains the letter U, except it has one extra block, made out of lime-stained glass. The AFA book contains the number 3, made out of leaves. They are highly probable that the shapes for these characters are from Minecraft's font textures. Some random biomes may have resemblance to a non-random biome. A significant number of random biomes have large quantity of lag-inducing blocks like vines or decaying leaves. These biomes have the potential of crashing your game, so do this at your own risk for weaker laptops and PCs, as it could potentially harm your device. I have warned you. Also, 3 new pre-made biomes were added: the Between biome, the Biome for Player with No Time for Nonsense biome, and the Shapes biome. The first one, which is the Between biome, it works best with the Floating Islands world generation. It generates a mesh of end ships, and the idea of this biome is between. The Biome for Player with No Time for Nonsense biome. It works best with the overworld world generation. Generates what seems like a normal snowy taiga, although mineral blocks and redstone components generate instead of ores. And the idea of this biome is busy. The Shapes biome works best with floating islands or overworld world generation. Generates a world consisting of different shapes made of one or more different types of blocks. And the idea of this biome is shapes. There's a lot more stuff concerning the dimensions, but I couldn't do too much research on that considering there are about 8 octillion dimensions you can go to, as I've mentioned before. So I'm not going to be doing those. If you guys did enjoy the video, I would really appreciate a like. I've spent so much time on this video. It took me like a really long time to make, so if you could just hit the subscribe button or just, like the video, it would really mean a lot to me. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week potentially.